let's get into the Colorado Mammoth. Should they rebuild it? Folks, there is 9 games in to this season so far. The Colorado Mammoth are 3-6 right now, and they're being outscored 93 to 114, which is the second worst goal differential in the league at negative 21. We know that the last 2 seasons prior to this one, they have skated by. But folks, unfortunately, there is something different about this season and going forward in the National Lacrosse League. And that, of course, is unified standings. Folks, the West apparently is not as good as people thought it was. Of the top 8 teams, Toronto East, Albany East, Halifax East, Buffalo East, Georgia East, New York Riptide East. And in between there, you have the Seals and Panther City if they even make the playoffs. The fact is, 6 of the 8 teams that we believe are good right now are from the former Eastern Conference. So, Dylan Ward, 32 years old. Yeah, we've heard that he can get hot. But what if I told you, if you include this season, his previous 4 seasons have gone down in save percentage. 4 seasons ago, he had 81%. That's fantastic for regular season Dylan Ward. Then it went to 80. Then it went to 78. Folks, it's at 75.4 save percentage. I'm not saying a guy cannot pull it out, but can we be honest with ourselves with older goalies? Which one of them besides Matt Vince has not shown signs of immediate decline? Matt Vince just won a championship at 40 years old. That's fantastic. What about Nick Rose, who you hope wins goalie of the year, but we don't know yet. That's still up in the air. You've got Aaron Bold, Frank Scigliano last year, and then this year he's been replaced by a 20-year-old in Chris Riglieri, now 21, Chris O'Riglieri. Goalies do not survive very long in this league. Or let me lie, when they do, they drop off pretty quickly. Now, may Dylan Ward have, 2 or 3 decent years left? Absolutely. Could he defy the odds? Absolutely. But why take the chance? After all, if you're the Colorado Mammoth, aren't you the ones that have benched him 2 or 3 times this season already? So if you have so much faith in him, why are you benching him? I know some guys have bad nights, but that's a lot of times to be benched during a game. 2 or 3 different occasions this year alone? It's almost like you guys are panicking without doing so. And then you have the trade deadline coming up in a few weeks. Last time I checked, I don't know the last time a Stephen Keogh type trade happened, or signing, if you will, where one guy comes off the market onto your team and boom, you're all of a sudden fantastic. Folks, with the New York Riptide, Cameron Dunkley started playing out of his mind on that when that moment happened. The offense looked way better. We can talk about how Stephen Keogh translated to wins, but that's just the low-hanging fruit. There are other things that happened to that team that made them be good besides Stephen Keogh, even though he does deserve credit. But 15 points in his season so far is not a world beater. It's just another option. So this Colorado Mammoth team is walking a fine line. And one of the last things I'll say about this, if Colorado should rebuild, and why not start now, their fans will decline. We have learned, despite this league being incredible, despite certain fans like the Colorado Mammoth fans having a great crowd, losing translates to less fans in the National Lacrosse League. At least in the 2.5, 3 years that I've watched it. That's an issue. And even in other sports, it's not just the NLL. In other sports, the more you lose, the more the outside noise starts to creep in. You got Daily Dive and Mike from this angle. You've got the fans. You've got other media who eventually start to realize, even though they like to coddle you guys and slap you guys on the butt and tell you a great job every game. But folks, be realistic here. Colorado, I thought Connor Kelly was going to do fantastic. they're 3-6. They're being outscored by 21 goals. What's cool? What's going on here? I just think it's very interesting that Connor Kelly is a guy who we thought was going to. I thought he was going to translate to wins. I know he wasn't Ryan Lee. But the more and more this team starts to lose, the more and more you realize it might be time. Shout out to producer Joe with the graphic there on the Colorado rebuild. I cannot thank him enough for that. Can you imagine if they're walking Ball Arena and then that just, or the Pepsi Center, that just starts to happen and Dylan Ward goes away? I'm just saying, they're not going to trade him. I haven't heard anything saying they will. But why not start now? See, guys, Calgary, remember when Calgary Roughnecks last season made it to the West Finals, I believe? And then after that, then Kurt Malosky takes his talents to Vancouver and starts to rebuild the Vancouver Warriors? Maybe that wasn't all Kurt Malosky. Maybe Calgary was kind of having a mutual parting ways. We don't know. The fact is, Colorado needs to understand very quickly that what they're doing now, something has to change. And that's the point.